Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar on Bigin's integration with Zoho Flow. My name is Farah, and I'm excited to be your host today. Is everybody able to hear me? You can use the reaction button to give a thumbs up. Okay, great. So, in today's session, we will explore how Bigin and Zoho Flow can work together to streamline your business operations across all the teams. Let me just do a screen share of my screen. Okay, so let me share some quick ground rules before we get started. All the attendees will be on mute by default. There is a question box, so please use it to post your queries. Our experts in this session will be able to respond to you. And we have a couple of poll questions coming up, so it would be great if you can answer them. This webinar is also being recorded, and you will receive a recording post this session. So here's what we will be covering today. A quick overview of Bigin and Zoho Flow, how this integration between Bigin and Flow can help your business, followed by a live demo, and lastly, we will be ending it with a Q&A with our product experts. Now, let's start with an introduction to Bigin, as we have users of Zoho Flow as well in this session who might not know what Bigin does. So, Bigin is a simple yet powerful CRM that helps to bring all the teams in the organization under one roof. It is designed to cater to the needs of small to mid-sized businesses. So, let me tell you in simple words the top functionalities of Bigin. So, number one is individual pipelines for different teams to manage their process. One view that shows all the customer data for easy accessibility, starting from, say, basic contact information of a customer to being able to see emails sent and received to the customer, calls made, and much more. And that's why we call it a 360-degree view of customer data. Number three is being able to manage tasks and events within Bigin. Communication with customers is made very easy with email integration, inbuilt telephony, and WhatsApp integration. Bigin also offers workflow automation capabilities along with quick dashboards where you can see your business health. Last but not the least, Bigin also integrates with third-party applications. Now let's talk about Zoho Flow. Before that, we have a quick poll question. So I'll give you 30 seconds of time. You can quickly answer the poll, and we'll be moving forward after that. I hope everybody has answered the poll question. If not, I will give another 10 seconds and then we can proceed. Okay. Now moving on to Zoho Flow. It is an integration platform that allows you to automate processes by connecting with different applications. So this is basically to avoid repetitive tasks from occurring on a daily basis. I feel like every business should use Zoho Flow. The best part about Zoho Flow is that it works with almost 900 plus applications. So you can automate almost anything that you can imagine. So you'll be able to connect with different applications and integrate with different applications and automate your processes. So it takes hardly a few minutes to create a flow for your business, and that's it. It will happen automatically. So now coming to the main part of this webinar, why should you integrate Bigin and Zoho Flow? So we know that a lot of you might be using various tools to manage your business, such as spreadsheets, Slack, Microsoft, or Calendly, and so on, to streamline your business. So this session sheds light on how various applications that you use on a daily basis can be connected with Bigin CRM using Zoho Flow. So number one is to ditch boring and repetitive tasks and free up the time to focus on what's important in your business. Number two is using this integration, all the teams can work smoothly together. There is no need of manually notifying teams and your colleagues. Everything can be automated. Number three is uh, no more worrying because of duplication of data across various applications. Once you connect Zoho Flow and other apps, the data flow happens automatically. Lastly, manual data work can be completely eliminated. This will definitely bring down human errors and improve the productivity of users. So now that we have covered our bases, let's see how this integration actually works practically. Over to you, Naman.
Thank you, Farah. Just give me a moment. I'll share my screen. All right. Please do let me know if you're able to see my screen. All right. So Farah helped us understand what Zoho Begin or rather Begin is and what Zoho Flow is. But let's see how it actually works or how you can work on it in the skin of it. When you log on to your Begin account, you're presented with a Kanban view of your pipelines. Now you can have multiple pipelines, but before that, what's a pipeline? Pipeline is a workspace that allows you to work with your leads, with your contacts, with your customers to understand at which stage they are. So we'll start off understanding Begin by creating a pipeline. Just for some context, I have a pipeline with some dummy entries where we're able to see different contacts across different stages, from qualified to closed one or lost. So let's create a pipeline. Click on the plus button alongside team pipelines. You'll get an option of either creating it from scratch or cloning from a template. We'll create from scratch, but let's just take a quick peek into what is a template. Begin offers you a host of templates to choose from based on either your teams or your industry. Just select the template you want and you can click on use this template. But we'll create something from scratch. So let's create one. Let's give your pipeline a name. Now, this name could either be a company name or your team name or anything for you to identify. I will just give it as Zilka Consultations. All right, Zilka Consultation. Now, the next thing that you'll have to do is how would you like the record in the pipeline to be plural or singular? As in, when it's spelled out, how do you want it? So I'll just go ahead with deals and deal. This can be changed based on your requirement. Pipeline permissions. How many or what are the different levels of permissions that you want to give to your profile users or your users? Administrator, standard, or you can select more. We'll go next. What are the stages? Now, stages is what I was showing you in some time ago. The different as in qualified, proposed, closed, one. So if you look at broadly, stages are classified into open stages and closed stages. Open stages are the initial stages where a contact goes through, and closed are closed as in you have either won the deal or lost the deal. Or you can also put it as they are still contemplating on the deal or they'll come back to it. So let's try it out. You can either choose one of the stages listed. For example, I choose qualified leads, or you can also create one. For example, let's say reach out, but I only have two here. Now, if I need more stages before they reach the stage of won or lost, what do I do? That's where I add a stage here. Let's say we go with proposal and invoices. Post that, we'll do a negotiation and review stage. And then let's do closed won, closed lost. Or you can add more stages based on your requirement. The same way, you can also create a stage based on your requirement. For now, let's not add one. Let's go next. And fields. What are the fields that you want your contact in your pipeline to have? A deal name, a contact name, a company name, sub pipeline and stages, amount, closing date. Now, let's say I need something beyond this. I need their email ID. I can simply drag and drop it. Where do I want it to sit in my data field? Now, if I need something more, I can add a custom field where I give it a label, let's say state. And what are the different types or data types that can fit in that? So I would probably just go for a text field here. You want it single line, multi-line, up to you. You want to make it mandatory, you want to avoid duplicacy, or you want to encrypt it. Perfectly up to you. Let's save it. Now this has created our contact. Beyond that, if you want it to be associated to certain products, that can also be done where you can add fields. Let's just save it. Give me a moment, please, as it saves. All right. It's created, and here I am in my Zilker consultation pipeline. While let's say you're working on it and you realize, oh, I need to either remove a pipeline or add a pipeline, just click on the three dots, manage your stages, and then either shuffle it as per requirement, or you can replace it or delete it. Now, my view is ready, but then I don't have my lead here. How do I collect my lead? Well, there are a couple of ways. You can either use a form, let's say a WordPress form or a Zoho form or any other form or data collection means, or else Bigin also offers you the luxury of creating your own form in Bigin, posting it on your website and collecting your leads. Let's see how do we do. Under settings tab, go to forms, and then let's create a new form. You can either create a contact form or a pipeline form. Now, what's the difference between these two? Well, while creating it, there's absolutely no difference, but where the data is stored, that's where the difference comes. So when you host a contact form, the entry goes to your contacts module, which is here. And if you host a pipeline form, it goes to the pipeline that we created a while back. So we'll create a pipeline form. Once you select a pipeline form, it'll ask you to which pipeline would you like to add. Since we created Zulka consultations, we'll go with that. Now, the experience of creating a form is quite simple. You fill in the details that you want, you customize it how you want it, and it's ready. So let's do that quickly. Let's enter the form name, lead details. All right. Now you need the deal name. That could be, let's say, the company name, for example. But if you want to change it, how do you do? That's where the setting icon comes in place, where you can change the name. Let's say company name. It's marked mandatory. And if you need any description to help the prospect or the lead fill in this form, that could be done here. Once you're happy with it, hit done. You need more fields. What do? You can drag and drop. I need their email ID. That's what I've drag and dropped here. You can either delete it or you can edit it. The same way as we did, you can mark it mandatory. Done. I also need their name now. What do I do in that case? I go to contacts, drag the first name. Let's put it here. All right. So I've got the first name and last name for the form. Let's say I need the phone number as well. I'll just put the phone number, and maybe I need the mailing country. So let's put it in here. I'm not going to make it mandatory, but it depends on you if you want to do it. Similarly, you can go to companies module and take out more information fields by dragging and dropping it to your form. Next is tools. Let's say you want to go a bit more further. You want to get more, you want to add your privacy policy. That can be done. You want to capture it. Perfect. You want to collect some files while you're at it. You can do that, or you can do Google reCAPTCHA as well. For now, I won't be doing any of it. The next is submit button. You can customize this as well based on the label, color, and you'll be able to see the review of it, or the preview of it rather. Let's hit done. You can either show powered by Bigin or not based on your requirement. Once you're done, you can preview it on different devices, how this would look across different devices. When you're comfortable, let's go to the next step. Next is your form link. Do you want to customize your link or the end of the link? That can be done here. For now, I'm just leaving it to leads details, but based on your requirement, you can do. You can assign the owner in your org. Who would be the owner for this? I'll keep it to default by Tom Lee. When a form is filled, I can inform the owner. Now, where do I want to add it in the pipeline, or which stage? So in Zilker consultation, I want to add it to a qualified lead. Let's say I don't want to do it. I just want to push it to reach out, proposal, negotiation, wherever you want to host it or hold the data. That's what you do here. You can add tags. You can also set in a process for approval. You can either add a thank you message, or you can redirect them to a page that you like. Once you're done with all this, hit save and next, and your link is ready. You can copy the link, host it on your website, maybe using the link, the QR code, or you can also embed it using an iframe JavaScript. I'll just paste it here for a moment, and I'll go back to my pipeline. So let's just try making a dummy entry here. Let's have a last name as, I'm not sure, what do I add? Okay, let's just add Zach. Root. Company name, Zach's cars. Email ID, root@zach.com. Phone number and mailing, country mail is non-mandatory, so let's not fill it for now. And we'll submit. Once it's done, the thank you message that I selected by default is shown here. Let's go to all deals. Let's refresh. Give me a moment. And here it is. So I have Zach as my contact created from a form that we had created in Bigin. Now let's look into it in a slightly deeper way. Once Zach or an account or contact is created and it moves across the pipeline, I want certain automations to happen. Let's say, for example, when I move a lead from qualified lead to reach out, or maybe proposals and invoices, I want it to be assigned to a specific person, or I want an email to be triggered, or certain automation to happen. How do I do it in Begin? We'll see that. Go back to settings, go to automations, and here you can either choose to automate the entire workflow or only based on certain stages. We'll quickly understand how to do it based on a stage. So let's create a new stage automation. Choose the pipeline that you want. Choose the sub pipeline. By default, it is Zilker standard, and choose the stage. So at what stage do I want to create the automation? So when let's say it goes to proposals and price, I want to send it to my team that takes care of pricing. So I'm going to create an automation. You can add certain criterias that based on only certain factors, let's say based on the amount or the tag to be sent it to the person or the team, or this automation should only kick in when that happens. For now, I don't have any, so I'm just going to remove it. I just want to update the assigned owner. So what I'm going to do is current record, delegate it to user. You can change it based on role or user field. I'll just stick to users and let's search for the owner. Since I'm working from Tom Lee's account, let's maybe assign it to Bella's one and we'll save it. Once it's done, you can add more actions, you can add more criteria based on your requirements. We'll just save it. And I'm able to see that at proposals and invoice, I have created an automation. So let's go back to our pipeline and move it across. So before we move, let's see who the owner is right now. It's Tom Lee. Let's cancel this. Let's go to reach out. My deal is saved. Who is the owner still? It's Tom Lee again. And let's move it now to proposals and prices. Who's the owner here? And as you see, the owner has been changed to Bella Stone. So this is just a small example of how you could create automation internally in Zoho in Bigin. There's another interesting thing with Zoho Bigin. Of if you look at the last few years, we've moved our communication with our customers, our leads have changed drastically from, let's say, letters to emails to instant messaging. Bigin allows you the luxury of reaching out to your customers using WhatsApp. And how you could do that is go to settings, under channels, go to messages, and with a simple click, you can connect your WhatsApp business account with Zoho Bigin. And I'll just show you in brief. So once you connect, agree to the terms and conditions, you can read through it and then integrate your WhatsApp account. This is just the tip of what Zoho Bigin or rather Bigin can do for you and for your business as your CRM platform. Now that we've understood Bigin, how do you extract the most out of it using Zoho Flow, or rather integrating it with over 900 plus applications using Zoho Flow? So let's go to Zoho Flow. When you log into your Zoho Flow account, you're greeted with all the flows that you have. Right now, I do not know how many flows I have, but yeah, this is just a small number of flows that I have in this org. So once you're ready, go to create. You can either create a flow or a folder. We'll create a flow. Let's give it a name. Let's say begin to, okay, let's say begin flow and create. Now, what am I trying to achieve with Zoho Flow here? Let's say when I close a deal, I want my team to be informed that, hey, we've either won a deal or closed a deal. And my team uses Slack for their communication. How do I do it? That's where a platform like Zoho Flow can help you out. So before we get into building, I'd just like to take a moment to explain you the principle of Zoho Flow. It works on the concept of a trigger and action. Now, what's a trigger? Trigger is an event that takes place in an application that will kickstart your workflow. Now, what's an action? Action are subsequent events that are a part of your workflow and will get impacted, or there will be some movement of data to them based on your trigger. Now, something to remember, you can only have one trigger, but you can have multiple actions. And your actions can be of different types. I'll touch upon it soon, but we'll understand what are the different types of triggers that you can use in Zoho Flow to create customized integration. The first one is an app-based integration or an API-based. We have over 900 plus applications that you can choose from to configure. The next is a schedule-based trigger where you want to run your workflow at a specific time or specific intervals. That's where a schedule-based trigger is helpful. The next is webhook. Webhook is a URL that Zoho Flow will offer you that you copy and paste it in an application. This is helpful when you do not find an application with Zoho Flow to start your integration with. The next is a URL. A URL trigger helps you to configure custom environments or certain applications that may not support webhook. In this case, you will paste the URL that passes the data to Zoho Flow in Zoho Flow, and at set frequencies, Zoho Flow will go ping that server or that application, check for what has been the update, fetch all the update, and pass it through your workflow. The next is an email trigger. Email trigger is useful when you want to kickstart your workflow or extract details from a templatized email. Let's say you're getting invoices coming in, or your team is updating you at the end of the day, how many calls have they made, or let's say you're traveling, you want to have an expense report registered somewhere. That's where an email trigger will help you out. Last is an RSS or an atom feed. This works when you want to fetch data from an RSS or an atom feed point. Let's say you want to get data from a government website, or you want to get data from a news channel or a news website. That's where an RSS feed can help you. A lot more uses to it. For example, I use it a bit personally here to get data from a couple of blogs that I'm not able to read on regular basis. It sends me a message, and then I can go back to it and read it at my leisure. So we'll start off with app based because I have Bigin with me. As I was telling, right, there are 900 plus applications. There's an endless list of it. You can either search for it by scrolling, or let's just type. So I have Bigin. Let's select Bigin. Now choose a trigger. Each application will have different trigger, and based on your use case, the trigger will change. So since I want to send my team an update when a contact is closed, that's what I'm going to do. So I would look for a pipeline record stage updated to closed. Go to next. You have to first connect your Bigin account. This is critical because that's how we will know from where to get data and where to pass the data in actions. We'll see that soon. So let's say you do not have an account. It's the first time you're doing it. Go to new, give your connection a name. Let's say Zilka. Authorize. You'll have a pop-up that will ask you which account you want to authenticate and what are the different data points that would be used in this API. You can either accept it or reject it. Since I already have a connection, I would not be accepting it and closing it. So let's just go back. We have already selected our pipeline. Let's go next. Variable name. You can choose to name it whatever you need as your identifier. The next with this trigger is choose at what stage do you want the workflow to trigger. When you look at it, if you just want it when it's closed, irrespective of won or lost, it will trigger then. Or if you just want it at a specific event, I'll just go with any of it. Now, what's filter criteria? You want to go more granular on this. You want to select, let's say, only based on certain company or a certain amount is when I want my team to know about it or this workflow to trigger. That's what filter criteria would do. For now, I'm not choosing any filter criteria. We'll go to done. This is where you start building your workflow. Now, your workflow, the actions, right, as I was talking about, could be of different types. The first is an app-based action. Each app will have its different set of actions unique to it. The next are logic elements. Now, what are logic elements? These are elements that help you create much more robust and comprehensive workflows. For example, you could use decisions to branch out based on your requirements. We will touch upon this in a next workflow. Delays. You want to delay your workflow execution by a set amount of time. That's what you can do. Notifications contains send email action, where you can send a customized email right from your Nexus custom functions. You need to create much more comprehensive workflows. That's where deluge scripting and custom functions can come to your help. Apart from that, commands and scripts and remote commands and scripts are for your on-prem integration that Zoho Flow allows you with. Let's say you want to integrate your on-premise Tally account or SQL accounts or manage engine accounts. That's where your on-prem integration comes into place. But for now, we'll stick to cloud. So I want to send my team who's on Slack a message. So I'll search for Slack and select the action. I want to send them a message in the private channel. Just drag and drop it here in a workspace. Select your connection, select your channel. That's deal status. You can change, it'll all depend on what your account has. My account just has 3. So I'm going to select deal status. Next comes the message. The beauty about this is you need not hard code it or type out everything. It can be very dynamic based on your requirement. So we'll see how to do it. Hi team, we have, let's say, what's the stage here? We can either search for it or also type here. So we have whatever is the stage, uh, a deal. The account name is, let's look for the account details. So the account name, and done. You can fill in any other data types or data points you need. For now, I'll just stick to this. Hit done. Now my simple workflow is ready. Let's switch on our flow. Awesome. My flow is switched off. And let's make a movement in our pipeline. So now if I make a movement, let's say to negotiation and reviews, I'll go back to Zoho Flow history, and I don't see any changes made because it does not match my trigger criteria. Now, let's say we have won this deal. Deal saved. Let's go back to Zoho Flow. Let's just refresh it. And you can see I have an entry or have an execution that's happened. When you click on it, you get the input and the output. This is useful when there is some error or there's queuing. It'll help you understand where is the bottleneck, what is the error you're facing, and how to troubleshoot it. Let's see that I received that message in Slack. Here it is. This is what we've received in Slack. This is a simple workflow. Let's take an extension of this and create something that one of our customers in India, a leading HR company, uses. This is not exactly their use case. It's an inspiration from their use case along with the one that we just understood now. So let's say when a pipeline record is 1 or you've just closed a deal, you want to send them an agreement, and there is a specific team that takes care of it. While you send them an agreement, you also want to create a project or a task in your project management software. How do you do that? Using Zoho Flow. So the first thing is when a pipeline record is created or updated, that's going to be my trigger. Followed by that, I'm just fetching the contact. This isn't hygiene practice. You can avoid it because it's just Bigin. However, if let's say you were using some other application, we would advise you to please have a fetch contact and pull out the details, especially using the email ID, because that's going to be unique yet uniform across all your applications. Once that's done, based on the country, I want to break up my workflow or I want to assign it to different teams. That's where, if you recollect, I was talking about decision comes in place. So what I've done here is, if the mailing country equals India, I will take a specific path or my data will take a specific path. Whereas if the country does not contain India or rather equal India, then it will take a specific path. Now, the first thing that I'd like to do is create an agreement in Zoho Sign. So that's what I've done, where I've selected the template. I have assigned or rather picked up the data from my data points. That's on the right, as fetch contact as the name and fetch their email ID. Then I have created an item in Sprint for my team to look into it and act accordingly. I have just selected the required data points. You can do what is required for your use case. And I'm sending a Slack message. We've seen that in the previous use case. The next thing is send email. As I was talking to you earlier, you can send customized emails right from Zoho Flow, and that's what this does. So I'm sending the email to the document owner that I have got from Sprints, and I am writing down customized details of it. Tell using the owner's name, contact name, and the document name, and sending out an email to them. Similarly, I have done for not an when the country is not India. This is just a small portion of what you can do with Zoho Flow. It all depends on your use case that you would like to solve, the apps you would like to integrate, and what you would like to achieve using Bigin and Zoho Flow. With this, our demo comes to an end. But is it just this much that you could do with Zoho Flow and Bigin? No, there's a lot more. You can streamline your lead nurturing process in sales. Let's say from collecting forms, let's say you're using some WordPress plugin or a Zoho form to collect your leads. You want to nurture them, add them to your email campaigns. You can do that using Zoho Flow and Bigin. You want to resolve a ticket by sharing it to the support team. This is again a customer, a very big customer from Vietnam, has implemented Bigin and Zoho Flow for this, where the sales team, if they need their support team's help, rather than going and manually creating a ticket using Bigin and Zoho Desk, they've created a system where they move it to a specific pipeline and it automatically creates a ticket in Zoho Desk for the support team to resolve. Once the ticket is closed, the details are updated back to the pipeline, and then the ticket moves on to the next pipeline. Third is contract signing, something that we just saw. You want to extend it even more? It's possible, where back and forth can be done. Customer feedback process. Let's say you've gotten a customer call, or you're running an e-commerce business. You've made a delivery to the customer, and you want to automate the process of sending them an email and receiving their feedback. That can be done. You can also streamline, as we just saw right now, in terms of how you can break down the data flow to different teams. You can also streamline it based on the account value or the amount that is generated. You want to push it to an enterprise, you have an enterprise deal that you've just locked in, or a big enterprise lead has come through. You want to separate pipeline for it, you want to notify them, create projects for them, get updates from them regularly, ensure their systems are on sync. That's something that Zoho Flow and Bigin can do for you together. I just have a last question for you to answer. Please take a moment to answer it. We'll just wait a couple of moments for you to share your questions for our team to help you answer. In case you need more questions to be answered, you want your problem statements to be analyzed better by us, you can always reach out to Bigin team at support@bigin.com and the Zoho Flow team at support@zohoflow.com. We'll wait for your questions, please.
So we have a couple of questions from customers. I'm just going to read it out so everybody gets to know what those questions are. Will we get the recording version of this for future reference? Yes, we will be sending the recording to all the attendees. Hi, can I sync customer data from Tally to Bigin? Yes, we can sync Tally with Bigin using Zapier. However, we can integrate Tally with Bigin using Zoho Flow or Zapier. Okay. Tally FY means Tally FY is a software which helps you to solve the time consuming problems of repetitive processes. As per your requirement, we can integrate Tally with Bigin using Zapier. I created a workflow to create a connected record, but the products listed in the primary or parent record are not being transferred to the child record. This is problematic for us since one pipeline is sales and the second pipeline is order fulfillment, and we require the products to be transferred over as well. Can you please let me know how I can set it up? So I think currently we don't have the feasibility to capture the associated product deals from parent pipeline to a child record. So we'll take it as a feedback and we will keep you posted. Okay, how do I send data to a third party application not listed in Zoho Flow? So the answer for this is we can write custom functions and use them in Zoho Flow to send data to third party applications which are not listed in Zoho Flow. Okay. Is this same as Zapier and Pabbly Connect? Zapier and Pabbly Connect are integration platforms just like Zoho Flow. There's another question which is unanswered. Can Zoho Flow integrate with Microsoft Excel and add a new row with details from a pipeline deal each time a deal is closed? Suraj or Arvind, can you answer the question? Okay, yes, it is possible. I don't have Begin but CRM. Is that good enough? All Begin features are in CRM. Yes, yeah, you can use Zoho Flow for CRM as well. Is it possible to integrate Zoho Books to Begin? Yes, we already have the integration which is pre-built. You can easily connect Zoho Books to Begin and send invoice quotes or estimates from Begin and see all the status details as well. That is like if a customer has paid or if it's overdue, all of that can be viewed from Begin itself. Let's just wait for a couple of minutes to see if there are any more questions and then we can wrap up this session. I hope all of you have answered the poll questions. One of my client have a requirement. Could you please share sales team contact? Yes, for Begin, you can reach out to sales@begin.com, or I will also um, share you the site where you can find the toll-free numbers and reach out to the team as well. can you demo a CRM and Flow? Sampath, unfortunately, we are running out of time, but Naman, I'm going to leave it up to you. Is there any discount from the list price? I'm not sure if you're looking at Bigin or Flow, but you can reach out to our sales team and they will be in a better position to offer you discounts. Hello, can you send me another link to the same seminar to look in deep? Sure, we have another session coming up tonight. I can share you the link for it. Is there any link which helps to explain the process of and automation process? So, Preeti, can you just let us know if you're looking at Bigin or Zoho Flow so we can send you the help documents accordingly? Okay, sure. I will send you the help documents right away. So the same question is repeated and we'll share you the link. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining this session. You will receive the recording of the webinar in a couple of days. Thank you so much.